Hey, hope you're doing well. Jeremy McCullen with McCullen Knives. Got a new knife to show you. It's a Swayback jack pattern, which is not a new pattern. It's been around a long time. It's a new pattern to me. I've never had a Swayback jack in my hand. I didn't actually have a pattern to use when I made this knife. What I wanted a Swayback jack. I've always liked the way they looked. I'm getting ready to do a batch of knives, a heat treat in a batch. I have to drive out of town to get liquid nitrogen, so it normally takes me about a day to get it. So when I heat treat knives like ABL that requires, or CPM 154 that requires liquid nitrogen, I heat treat in a batch. So I'll make whatever 10, 15, 20 knives. That way, when I have my liquid nitrogen, it's more economical. It helps me keep the cost down. If I had to add liquid nitrogen to the cost of every knife, just alone, you're talking probably at least $100 per knife just to do that. So by doing it in heat treating in batches, I keep the cost down. So I wanted to add this Swayback jack. I'm getting ready to do a batch of heat treating, and it's going to be a Model 3, the Swayback jack, and maybe some Bose patterned trappers. I'm not really sure, but anyway, I needed to develop the Swayback jack pattern, and so what I did, I started off, and I do this most of the time in wood. So I made a Swayback jack pattern in wood, and I did this basically by looking at pictures on the internet, going, oh, that's how it looks, and then let's make a knife. So there is the handle, so the liners, there's a spring, and there is the blade. And once I had this, and I had the dimensions of this, I put it into some ABL, heat treated it, and I finished this today. So this is the Swayback jack, and from this I'll make my master pattern. Now here we go. These are the parts. So what I did is, before I finished the knife here, I transferred everything down into a piece of ABL. So I got the blade, the handle, and the spring. And this week coming up, I'll heat treat this, I'll get it ready, and then I'll be able to make the first run of Swayback jacks when I heat treat these knives coming up. So here's the knife. Again, it's an ABL. This is natural linen micarta. Ghost pivot. Ghost pivot's 416. The pins are 416. The liners are 410. The blade itself was 84 thousandths before I did a full flat grind to it. The springs ABL. The blade has a 600 grit, fingerprints on it, has a 600 grit hand rubbed satin finish. Like I said, it's full flat grind. It's got a nice swedge ground in it. Nice and lean. You can see. Half stop. Closed position. See how it's got the curves look really good on it, in my opinion. That's what I was going for when I was making this, trying to figure out how to get the lines and the curves to look right, and doing this by eye. So here we go. This is going to be, again, my take on this Swayback jack. And I'll be getting this ready to heat treat a batch of these. So it'll take me, 2 or 3 days to get this heat treated this coming up week. And then I'll start working on getting the Swayback jacks, the Model 3s, and whatever else I decide to add into that ready for heat treating, and I'll get those heat treated. So anybody waiting on a Model 3 or anything that's coming up, I'm gonna be getting the heat treat done on them in the next couple weeks. And then from there, I'll start, making the knives. So I hope everyone's doing well. I hope you're staying cool. I mean, I'm sitting in the shade out under one of my pecan trees, and it's still, I think, it's 3:12, so 15:12 in the afternoon, and it's probably 90 degrees right now in the shade. I don't remember what the temperature's supposed to be today, but we've been, in the high 90s. Well, we've been in the 90s. We'll say high 90s. We've been in the 90s for the last 2 weeks or so, and with the heat index, most days 100 or more. So wherever you are, I hope you're staying cool and staying safe. So take care.